¿Qué pasa, campeones? Welcome to the Churros y Tácticas podcast for the first time for free to all of our listeners worldwide, coming to you guys live and direct. Yes, indeed, from Canada, Ontario, to Barcelona, Catalunya, Spain. We are here, Kian Sabani and myself, Diego Logain, with a review of match day 1 of La Liga EA Sports. Still in the tendency to say Santander. Just kind of rolled off the tongue nicer, but it's La Liga EA Sports, of course. And what a way to start. Kian said, I'll count you in. I didn't even expect it. I'm suffering from PTSD from last season. How many intros did I get to do, Kian, if it wasn't for our patrons? Maybe a handful. Here we are.
I'm going to guess 0, but I could be wrong. I think it was 0.
None. Well, here we are. That would have been something to keep track of, actually. We should keep a tracker somehow. Maybe a loyal viewer can do that for us. That being said, the new season is kicked off. I'll be the first one to come to you guys, all of you guys, with the intro for today's edition. If you haven't, though, we have already been cooking on the Patreon page. That's patreon.com/churros y tácticas. So in case you haven't already, make sure that you sign up so you don't miss any of this good old content that we cook up for our patrons only. It's the juiciest. It's the stickiest of churros. Trust me. Nada que ver con esto. Kian, my friend, match day 1 is done and dusted. We gave our listeners the preview. We're now here to review on this Tuesday, the 20th of August. It's a slow getting out of the gates for Madrid. In the case of Barça, we picked up a highly deserved and valiant, may I say, 3 points. So I'm chuffed. I'm happy. We're coming live to our Churros listeners, who I'm sure will be submitting their comments and questions. But yeah, my friend, how are you feeling today?
Listen, man, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate you on the birth of a new cycle. All good cycles must come to an end. And we won, 2 Champions Leagues in the past 3 years. And it was a good run. And now the upcoming Barca contingent, led by the great Hansi Flick, I'd like to congratulate you, man. Listen, I was okay with it. I knew I'm at peace with it. I would trade it for any day of the week. I would trade our success that we had in these last few years. And I needed to make sure I congratulate you first and foremost. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do with Mbappe now. Like, would anyone take him from our hands? He's 1 goal in the first 2 games. He's on pace for one goal every 2 games. I don't know how we get rid of that contract now. It's looking really ugly. Do you think even Barca would trade Lewandowski for Mbappe? I don't know, man.
I don't know. That's not for me to entertain, quite frankly. That's for you, Madridistas, to worry about. That is a stark contrast to this eloquent narrative that you've been putting out of this fantastic quartet of left wingers that you guys have that fluidly string passes together. Why the downer, my friend? What's going on?
Just
you get up okay?
We'll be okay.
Oh, okay.
We'll be okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
good. You ready to get serious?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All right. How was your weekend, man? Congratulations on the win. It was actually a pretty strong opening weekend for La Liga. There were some good games.
I enjoyed it. I definitely, man. I actually got to enjoy several of the games. Hugely enjoyed Villarreal. Was entertained by that. And, of course, what took place over in San Moix as well. Did I say not what I expected? I guess so. It wasn't really what I expected. Madrid dominated for a large part of the game. That said, your boys didn't generate much. Certainly, Rodrigo's early goal felt like it gave you guys some of that stability and allowed you guys to approach this game with having that goal cushion. And as I referred earlier to, was it a tweet? I don't know where I read it, but I'm sure we're going to see these moments of fluid plays between the stars. But from what I saw in the game itself, Vinny and Mbappe didn't really see their individual efforts materialize. Despite the goal, I think for the vast majority of the time, your two standout players, if I can say so, with the permission of Bellingham, didn't have their best of games. After in the post-match show, I took a note of the chances created: 11-13 chances. That's 13 falling for Madrid, but 5-4 for Mallorca when it came to chances, actually shots on goal, which again kind of reflected what I took out from the game, and that was that Mallorca had chances to take the win. Right. Defensively, and I will agree or echo the words of Ancelotti, I felt that Madrid were pretty bad. Besides the not pressing after losing possession, I felt from the goal that Madrid conceded, the Dani Rodriguez assist to Muriqi, we could see that those types of goals being conceded more often for Madrid. I think that might be somewhat of a, let's call it, Achilles heel. But I don't know how you see it. If Mbappe lets Muriqi get away, if he loses his mark, where you guys put the blame from. But yeah, I don't know. Look, I have my opinions and my conclusions from the match against Madrid. I think overall, a draw was deserved between these two sides.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could even argue Mallorca deserved to win this one. To be quite honest with you, it was not a good performance, and the first half looked better, and there were some really nice link up sequences between Bellingham and Mbappe in particular. But I think Ancelotti is right to feel frustrated, and there are games when Ancelotti drops points and he says, "Look, most games we would have won it, or we played well, we got unlucky. We'll keep building on it." But this one, he was not like that at all. He was really disappointed and called the team out, called himself out, called the players out. One of the things he said was he mentioned the lack of pressing. And there were a lot of sequences during this game where the front three are just not defending. And it's funny because, I spent a lot of time heading into the season saying, look, this does not have the same challenge as PSG's Messi, Neymar, Mbappe failed experiment, because none of those front three defended. And whoever the third attacker is with our team, whether it's Rodrigo, whether it's Jude Bellingham, whether it's Brahim Diaz, etc., all those guys defend. And Rodrigo was not good defensively yesterday. He did not press. He did not track well. He let Mojica in behind him quite a bit. There were times where he was on the other side and did not track, and it was Jude Bellingham sprinting and covering everything defensively. Bellingham just has a lot on his shoulders in this lineup. He's just doing everything. So the defensive effort from the front three have to improve. And look, let's be real. I'm not sure how much Vinny and Mbappe will actually defend.
That was going to be my follow-up.
Yeah.
How much?
So whoever the third guy is has to plplay defense, and Rodrigo didn't play defense well. Yes, last night.
And I don't suspect that he will, quite frankly.
Well, it's in his profile to do so. He is very good and a hardworking player off the ball usually, but for whatever reason against Mallorca, not only was he not defending well, but even players we usually rely on to do that, like Rudiger, Carvajal, Tchouaméni had his defensive lapses too. I would say that a lot of players not only didn't defend well, didn't press well, didn't track well, but also our passing was way off too from a lot of reliable players. So I can't really explain it.
Not Tchouaméni though. Right, I saw his stats after the game. They pulled it up. 100% passing accuracy, but clearly what was missing more intent behind the passing. Right, it was not your cross type passing, nothing dangerous, let's say, or brave, creating chances, leading to offensive plays. It was all very passing without the intent. Something that wouldn't be the first time that we talk about that in about players in football teams, but I feel like the narrative that is settling in is the post Kroos era has begun, and Tchouaméni needs to step up because that's not going to be good enough.
Well, that's true. I didn't have an issue with his passing last game. 2 games against Atalanta, his passing was really poor. Yesterday against Mallorca, I keep saying yesterday. It was two days ago against Mallorca. His distribution was much better. Granted, Mallorca did not really press, so they weren't putting him under a ton of pressure. They were letting our players come out of the back, and it was more in the box where they were defending and putting a lot of pressure on the attackers. But with Tchouaméni, I think defensively he needed to improve, and also I don't know what it is. Maybe it was mental. To be quite honest, Diego, the game in Mallorca is pretty much every year one of the tougher games on the schedule for us in particular.
Mm.
Um,
Oh, for a lot of big
it's
teams.
a huge mental battle for us
So
in that
Moish
stadium in
is a
particular.
fortress. San
Sure.
Moish is a fortress. It has been in recent years. And look, if anything, Arrasate proved once again that he knows exactly how to play the big La Liga teams. We saw it in Osasuna. We always
Yes.
sang his praises in Osasuna, and he's doing it now in San Moix or with Mallorca in San Moix. So it was the type of game that you would have expected, and
They were
of
also
course,
very good
I know that there
defensively.
was, and they were great defensively. And of course, it boiled over. You had the anticipated showdown between Maffeo and Vinny. Nothing new there, as in you knew that those two players were going to go at it. This game wasn't shy of from controversy neither. All in all, I guess my big question, the burning question, if you were Carlo Ancelotti and I'm Kian Stovani sitting in the press conference, I wanted to ask you how you felt about the Ancelotti's approach to this game. How you feel about the tactic of having your star players all clustered on the left. I thought that heat map was crazy, like seeing so much activity on the left hand side. And if it's not too predictable, or even like if it kind of like lets you down to see the tactic being employed, and I'm obviously being oversimplistic here, but it's basically like give Carvajal the right flank, give him the whole space to run up and down, and look with crosses for one of our 4-star players to make a magical moment happen in the box when they get on the ball. How do you feel about that?
So I'm Carlo, you're Kian.
Yeah.
Well, Kian, great podcast, first of all. I'm a huge admirer of your work. So I just wanted to put that out there. We have a spot in the coaching team for you if you want, but you might be overqualified. So, but thank you for attending the press conference and allowing me to be here in the room with you. Second of all, to answer your question, I look. I don't really care about the left side thing. I don't. Maybe some people do. I don't. The reality is, like, you're always going to go and have the majority of your attacking sequences on the side where your strengths are. This happened with Barca when you guys had Messi and Dani Alves. This happened with Real Madrid when we had Cristiano and Cruz and Isco and Benzema and Marcelo. And so I'm
Not to
okay.
that degree. I don't remember seeing a heat map like that though from prior seasons. Where I mean,
No,
they clearly
of
didn't have
course,
the
yes.
space. Yeah.
What you absolutely have seen this before. Like, everything always goes to our left. I mean, now it's even more exaggerated because of Mbappe and Vinny, and they're both on the left. Mbappe is pretty much middle left, Vinny is middle left, and then Rodrigo is middle left right. Is kind of the way it generally plays out with those three. Now, having said that, like, when Rodrigo did take on Mojica, he wasn't that successful on that side.
Mm.
And I would say Mojica probably won that duel, all things considered. There's another thing to keep in mind, Diego. It's that the starter heading into this season was probably going to be Camavinga, not Rodrigo, which means you wouldn't have seen this. Ancelotti said that he was going to start Camavinga against Atalanta before Camavinga got injured. Now, Camavinga is not going to be back until like late September or whatever it is. So there's that aspect of it too. So normally Camavinga gives you more balance defensively and in a game like this, right?
Right.
So maybe the games where you get away with Mbappe, Vinny, Rodrigo all starting together are probably the games at home in the Bernabeu against maybe some of the smaller La Liga teams. But
Mm.
I also think that there's a real scenario where Arda Güler can maybe crack the rotation or the lineup eventually, because he can play on the right. He can provide something different. We have a ton of line breaking dribblers, right, between Jude, Vinny, and Mbappe. And Goulier gives you something different. He maybe gives you some more symmetry if you want that, but he also gives you a different profile of incisive passing, ball progression, and a little bit more controlled tempo in the game if that's what you want. So that's something that I would keep an eye on. But I actually wonder how much that changed. And this could, for all we know, this could be maybe the last 2 points Real Madrid drop for the next 2 months. I'm not predicting that, but I'm just saying it's very possible this is a blip, and then Real Madrid just can roll this
For sure.
lineup out again, and they just win like 7 straight.
In your heart of hearts, tell me, how confident are you that Ancelotti will actually make use of Arda Güler and not sub him on in the 88th minute?
I think gradually he'll come around to it.
He has
We've
to.
seen. I mean, look, it's hard. It's hard to earn Ancelotti's trust, and it's hard to, even if you do, it's hard to earn trust over players who have been here for years that Ancelotti trusts even more.
Unless they're Castilla players, but yes.
Well, if you're a Castilla player, you're already,
you're going.
Yeah,
You're gone.
Well, but jokes aside, I think we saw it with Brahim Diaz last year. Brahim Diaz, he barely played, but every second he played, he was very impressive. And then eventually he just grew into a much bigger and prominent role and earned that trust. And then, of course, his problem was when everyone came back from injury, then he disappeared again. But Goulier is like incrementally, if you track it, he is earning more and more trust with Carlo. And he has said, and Carlo has also said that Goulier can play in midfield, in the midfield three as well.
Yeah.
Which, if that's true, then he can also earn minutes there as well.
Look, for me, I'm happy seeing Güler on the bench because he's a frightening player.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
Yeah. And I for the
bastard.
life of me, if I'm Madridista, I wouldn't understand for the life of me why we are not making better use of a player like Güler. But that's
we
for
all
Carlo
love
to
him, but
figure out.
there's a lot of great players. Like, this is not easy to
Yeah.
manage, to be fair. There's a
Mm.
lot of great players here. Anyways,
But
so
you're right. This could very easily be a blip, and I mean, odds has it that this is a blip, and you will
it
go
probably is. Yeah.
on a 3-point streak. Yeah. Can I? What shirt are you sporting there? I like it. What is it?
Thank you for noticing. I
T-shirt.
was waiting for you to notice. I kept on like zooming out. I kept on. This is Eduardo Camavinga
Give me
3
some.
times.
Ah, nice. So that's
The
with
6, the 12, and the
Madrid.
25.
Muy bien. Con la selección francesa, and 2 with Madrid, or is that
12 and 25 are with Madrid. Not that I'm thinking. I'm blanking on where the 6 is from. Where does he wear 6? Did he ever wear 6?
in France? Wait, he came from Lille, right? Or where did he come from? No, from Rennes.
Rennes.
Yeah,
maybe it was that.
Well, it's a nice T-shirt. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you. It was
Where'd you get
shout
it?
out
You wanna
to
plug it?
Daniel Smith, our patron.
Mm.
He's launching a new clothing company, so he sent me and my kids a bunch of shirts.
Hey.
And he asked
Hey,
me who my
Daniel.
favorite player was. I said Camavinga, so he sent me a bunch of Camavinga swag. So his wife designed this, and I don't know if I'm allowed to promote it yet, but when I do, I'll post a link on where you guys can buy these.
Daniel Smith, Lamine Yamal, number 2719. Where did he play for the filial? I don't know, me acuerdo.
He wears
Get it.
6 with France, or at least has worn 6 with France.
That's what I thought. The selección francesa. All right. Very nice. Very nice. So,
We have a couple
did you get a
super
chance
chats.
to see the action at Mestalla?
Well, let's get to it.
Okay.
Mr. Sushi says, "Hi Diego, Barca won 1 game. You're winning La Liga."
Yeah, Mr. Sushi. Hey, caught me off guard. I wasn't ready to do the intro. Thank you, Mr. Sushi.
Be honest, you were not
as
actually
always.
caught off guard to do the intro.
No, I genuinely it wasn't in the habit to come on the free pod and do the intro. Te lo juro por Dios, I'm not kidding you.
Our rule is that whoever's ahead in La Liga does the intro.
Yeah.
So yeah, there should be no
PTSD, man.
surprise. We have a scientific algorithm, a formula that's infallible, and that's the formula. So whoever is ahead in La Liga does the intro. That's the rule. You want to use this as a launch pad to talk about Barca?
Yeah, sure.
All
So,
right.
Barça Valencia, I think it was a win that deserves a lot of merit. Hansi Flick went into this match with his fair share of issues to deal with, his complications and hurdles to overcome. None the least, the one that a large part of what will be his starting team are still not present, of course. The likes of Frenkie, Araujo, Gavi, Fermin Lopez just having come back, not being ready. Dani Olmo, who wasn't registered to play. Pedri, who had literally just gotten back and played a few minutes, looked good, but he's just getting Pedri under his command now. And other ones, right? It's the second time in history that a team fields three minors from the start. The first time was also Barça actually under Xavi. This time it was the likes of Lamine Yamal, Pau Cubarsí, and Marc Bernal, all under 18, starting in a crucial match. I mean, the opening inaugural match for La Liga against Valencia away. And three debutants as well. So the before mentioned Marc Bernal made his official first team debut, as did Pau Victor, the new signing, and Gerard Martin. So that in and of itself already, I think, deserves merit for walking away from a stadium like Mestalla, from playing a team like Valencia, with everything that comes with it, with a team that had its handicaps and walked away deservedly with 3 points. Why do I say deservedly? Well, we made a comeback. Valencia went up in the first half with a deserved goal. Was a nice goal for that matter. Hugo Duro beating Ter Stegen with a sweet header that gave him the lead. It didn't last long because Lewandowski then put in the equalizer in the 5th minute of injury time of the first half in a beautiful play that was started with Alejandro Balde, who I was very happy to see back. Showed very promising signs again of being that left back that we need, that we want, that we seek for, with the presence offensively, while also being disciplined in his backtracking. Who luckily isn't injured, had to be taken off due to precaution. Again, I was holding my heart, thinking, here we go. We were going to start the season with a setback for the youngster. It's a knock. He will be available for another crucial game at home over the weekend against Athletic Club. But Balde to Lamine Yamal, who had a stellar game as well, giving the assist, pinpoint accurate pass across goal. And I give credit to Lewandowski for scoring that goal and for both goals. And that is where my credit ends, because the big Polish striker didn't do much apart from only scoring 2 goals. But yeah, still a point of worry with regards to his general kind of, I guess, presence and participation on the field, albeit after having scored a brace, which obviously gave us the win. Now, Lamine Yamal, who I need to give a mention because he was excellent, got a standing ovation from the Mestalla. 2 hostile stadiums that are now have been applauding Lamine Yamal, which I think, of course, makes you feel proud, makes you feel happy. We controlled the game more. We had more chances, more shots on goal, deserved the win. As the game in Madrid with Maffeo and Vini, there was controversy here. So, I'm happy to address it. I'm happy to give my opinion. Pau Cubarsí could have received the yellow card, the second yellow card that effectively, of course, would have sent him off the game. I will add to
check
that.
Diego's temperature. I can't do it through the screen. Someone make sure
I
Diego
will
doesn't have a
say,
fever.
I will say that the first one wasn't a yellow, not for me and not for the vast majority of people. But I think that's why he sort of got spared a second yellow, because a red would have been excessive, would have been harsh. Pau Cubarsí, who saved the 2-0 off the goal line after having conceded the 1-0 in the the play right after that literally saves the ball off the goal line. So good game on from him as well. Ter Stegen had a goal-saving stop as well. I think it came from a deflection from Inigo Martinez, who I was deeply, deeply disappointed by. I desperately want to root for him. I desperately want him to be that extension from Hansi Flick, for that defensive line, to give this team some maturity, some leadership, which I think he fits. He could fit that bill, but from what we saw in that game in particular, Mestalla, like, deeply disappointing. He cannot be in the starting 11 come next game against Athletic Club, and neither can Ferran Torres, for dear God. And again, it pains me to say that, but I'm here to spit some truths, at least the way I see it. That was disappointing, those two players in particular. But all in all, I'll take this win. 3 vital points to start the league campaign, especially with all the negative narratives that is surrounding Can Barça. It was very important for Hansi and the squad to start off with a win, because there's all going to be hard-fought matches. Next up, I've been saying it already, Ernesto Valverde, Barça ex-coach, strolls into town with Athletic Club. Plenty of difficulties and subplots that can be entertained there in that game as well, of course, seeing as the Nico Williams signing, it all looks like that will definitively not happen. That door has been closed. All kinds of things being said about that in the background, with Athletic Club threatening to take La Liga to court if it would happen. Anyway, it's a saga, a path that we luckily don't have to visit. It looks certain that he will not come this season. Who will come instead? We do need a left winger. Dani Olmo is with the squad, will be available. I think, I shouldn't confirm this, but for this next match day 2 coming up. But we still have gaping holes in the defense, in the holding midfield position, and on the left wing as well. So, there's talks of Chiesa. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the news, Kian. But
Yeah, I saw one
we'll see.
report about Rafael Leao, and I had to laugh.
Also, yeah, right. I mean, it's yeah.
So I didn't I didn't watch the Barca game. My questions for you for Barca were going to be off the field, if you don't mind.
Well, we are on. This is Tuesday, churros. Oh.
Well, you can acknowledge the question. You can write it down, and then you can also feel free to address them on the patron only pod. And if you answer, great. And if you don't answer, I will give my thoughts. But first, I wanted to bring something up. As you know, I pride myself on not knowing very basic details that everybody knows. So I completely forgot that Camavinga actually wears 6 for Real Madrid this season. And Nishlish Patel brought this to my attention. He says,
Nice.
The 6 is Camavinga this current season, Kian. Here's my question for you for Barca. And it's a super chat from Ural Desai, which I was going to ask you. He says, thoughts on the Gundogan saga, Diego? This is your time to shine, buddy. Spotlight's on.
Can I just check something real quick? Let me just check the official website to see. Has anything been confirmed? I just want to know if
nothing's official. There's basically the latest from what I understand, unless I missed something, is that they're asking him to leave. He doesn't want to leave, but he's willing to help Barca. And he's made a call to Pep. Pep's like, yeah, come on back. And that's as far as I know.
Okay. Well, I will, to answer this question, I will refer to colleagues of mine from the local newspapers and basically regurgitate what they are reporting. Okay, so this is not coming from me nor the club officially, but what is being currently reported is that it's a win-win situation. Meaning what exactly? It appears there's several elements to this decision if it happens. What those are, they say, the word around the campfire is that one, Ilkay for a while has been toying with an idea of moving on. Now, that side of the story would hold weight if he were to go to. There were talks, I think, between him and Galatasaray. It might be another Turkish club. There were talks of him perhaps departing to Qatar or Saudi Arabia to join Cristiano Ronaldo, is what I last read. Now they're saying that he's actually called Pep and asked him if Pep would be all right with him coming back, to which Fabrizio Romano actually reports Pep given the green light to a potential return of Gundogan to Manchester City. Then there are those that say that, and this is the most sensitive of all, I think, which is why I want to tread it lightly, but that there has been a divide somewhat between in the Barca dressing room between those players that get along. You have two, as in all dressing rooms, as all offices, there's different groups and camps. And the camp that is not in the Gundogan camp has been sort of has been increasing, or wouldn't be against a move for him to go away from the Barca dressing room for the division that he caused last season when he came out very publicly and very direct, but also quickly after, like in the aftermath of certain games happening, where he criticized right the individuals that committed certain individual mistakes and errors, meaning that
He was right, by the way.
before he addressed it internally, some players take issue with the fact that he addressed that publicly before they could discuss it internally. You have your own, whoever
Ronald
has their own opinions. So there's that. And then there is also the club side. And again, I reiterate that I'm merely reporting to what is being said in the local newspapers, that from a club side, they wouldn't, that they're happy with Gundogan, but they wouldn't necessarily stand in the way of him moving towards to another club, as it would alleviate the salary cap. Okay, they are reporting a figure of around the 15 million mark that he earns, and that would significantly alleviate the salary cap. And of course, given the financial strain that Barca continues to be in, that would they would see that with as in a good operation. They wouldn't ask for a transfer fee. They would give him the green card. Thank you for your services. We split amicably. Am I saying that right, Kian? And then there's a final part to this story, and that is that supposedly in conversation with Hansi Flick, he has also made Ilkay Gundogan aware that he will not necessarily be his first choice, nor will he necessarily perhaps get the minutes that he's expecting to get, given the arrival of a Dani Olmo, who might or might not fit Hansi's system better. And of course, I've made a significant investment in Dani Olmo, et cetera, et cetera. So he's a kind of player that needs to be used. So for all of those reasons, I don't know if it's all of the above. I don't know which ones, you find the most credible or not. That's for each of you to decide. I'm merely the messenger. How do I personally feel about it? If it happens, it's not one that I'm going to be tossing and turning over. I think that from a number standpoint, Ilkay has proven his worth. He was a very useful player for Xavi last season. He used them a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he was the player with most minutes, or at least up there. Again, from numbers perspective, he did what he had to do. He did often, I felt, could have provide more. He's not a player that is going to run, that is going to bust his balls. He's not, aggressive in the press. He's kind of lost that, I feel, hunger or that youthfulness, I guess, that coaches look for in these moment situations where you lose possession and you want to hunt the ball back like a maniac, like a man possessed. Ilkay, or yeah, he's just not going to give that to you anymore at this stage. So, and if he feels like he deserves the vast majority of the minutes and he wants to be a starter and he's going to be unhappy on the bench earning 15 million, then by all means, thank you, Gundogan, for your time. We wish you the best of best and good luck and goodbye. Like I said, I'm not going to toss and turn over it. Even though, some I'm catching wind that a section of the Barca fans are up in arms over this potential departure. Well, and I assume others will view it more like me or are more radical. And I don't know. But yeah, there's my answer.
As you know, I have no dog in the fight apart from I would like to see Barcelona as miserable as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remove all emotion aside from it, I think this is bad. Bad for you guys.
Okay.
He, like you said, he played a ton of minutes last season because he was really needed. And he was extremely valuable. He actually led La Liga in key passes, led La Liga in expected assists. Very reliable distributor and very experienced, polished player. Sure, not like this guy you would cry over necessarily because he's not like this young superstar like you. He's older. He's at the tail end of his career. But I don't. Serious question. If he leaves, how many healthy midfielders does that leave you with?
It's a good point. I am clutching to my purse that Gavi, Pedri, and Dani Olmo will stay healthy. I am praying to the gods that Fermin Lopez continues what we have seen from him over the summer and last season as well, where he became the tied second top goal scorer of the team behind Lewandowski, tied with Rafinha, the top goal scorer of the Olympics for the Spanish national side with 6 goals, and continues to be, that energizer bunny and just fierce attacking midfielder that he has within him. All the while, Gavi, please stay healthy. Pedri and Dani Olmo, who I addressed on this podcast, is a serious worry of mine because he also brings with him his burden of suffering repeat injuries. That was one of the criticisms that I had on the signing of Dani Olmo, that for that money, you're not signing, you're signing a very talented, once youth player of your team. So you're overcoming a lot of the hurdles when it comes to adapting to a new culture and everything. He's got all that down, but will he stay healthy? That right now is the biggest question. Will he stay healthy? And I feel that, the midfield is the position right now where we have an overbooking. So again, to go back to my previous point, if we are bidding farewell to a player that would not have been happy sharing his minutes, sitting on a bench, earning that kind of money, while the coach is trying to implement a brand new, fresh style of play with new players, everything, everybody needs to be on the same page at this moment in time. And if that is the final decision, I'm at peace with it, I guess, is what I'm saying at this point in time. But your points are super valid, 100%.
The non-sporting side of it, I think there's like a track record now with Laporta of bringing in players for a specific thing and not seeing it out and asking them to leave early. And I don't think it's a good look. I think if you're like an outside star looking in, like that should matter to you on some level of like, how am I going to be treated when I'm there? And look, I don't know the behind the scenes the way you do, obviously, but
I don't think Gundogan is saying he's getting treated badly. I mean, this is not.
I mean, he's being asked to leave essentially.
No, you said that's never been reported. The club has never said please leave. If
Well,
anything,
of course, the club is
it was
not
coming
going to say
from the
that.
other. No, but if anything, what is being reported has been the other way around. And Hansi Flick has been candid and upfront with Gundogan and said, and again, this is if this is true, you're going to be splitting your minutes. It's the coach's decision. The coach is the one that, the coach is the captain of the ship here.
But is this not related to the wage bill?
The wage bill would be an added plus, an added benefit.
Added plus, or is it, hey Hansi, can you figure out the PR side of this because we need to clear some room?
I understand that you, as a Madridista, would love to interpret it that way, and that is the narrative that you will. I understand. Again, giving you my answer, I understand that why certain outlets, news outlets, would want to spin it that way and put it out. I can't confirm. I don't know. We'll have to wait and hear from Gundogan. Hopefully, he will come out and say his bit, and and this can be cleared up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, just again going back to the sporting side of it, it's going to be risky to run with a
But the same
midfield.
can be said from for you guys. I mean,
of course,
you guys are a club that is not unfamiliar, not of having overbookings in certain positions, players that feel that they deserve more minutes that are not being used, that eventually find a way out because they see they don't get any minutes. So whether young or old, that's I mean, look at talk about extreme cases. Look at Chelsea. I mean, how do you think the 30, 40 players that are there right now will be feeling? Those minutes are going to go to a selective few, and they'll be
they'll just cry themselves to sleep for the next decade because they have 80-year contracts, and they right, if we don't play, at least our grandchildren are getting paid, and that contract will run 20 years. I mean, look, what I don't know where Real Madrid came into all this. This was your need to bring us into your own.
No,
problems.
because you're because I want to counter the point that you made that Barca now is a club where stars shouldn't go to because they get treated badly. That's what you're saying, and I refute
who was
that.
the last player that got treated badly at Real Madrid?
Well, maybe it'll be Enric, maybe it'll be Arda Güler, maybe some of the youngsters.
A lot of maybes. A lot of maybes.
Well, okay,
talk to me in 10
I don't know.
years.
You should know. You. I mean, what's his name? The one that went to Heerenveen and then Arsenal, the young Norwegian
Odegaard.
kid.
He wanted to leave.
Odegaard. Well, he wouldn't have gotten minutes. Taki Kubo didn't get minutes.
He was not.
These are all players that leave. They're not happy to leave.
No, they would rather. That's totally different. That's totally different. Those are players looking around the room saying, "Okay, I would like to go here because I want to play more." That's different. That's different than like a player who's under contract and has just started the season and all of a sudden is
on the last year.
Looks like he's being pushed away.
Again, that's how you want to spin it, and coming from a Madridista, that will hold weight on your side of the camp. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's not how I'm interpreting the information and the reasons, the 4 or 5 reasons I just put out to you.
I do know in Real Madrid's case for sure it's not true that they were pushed out. Odegaard wanted to leave.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying it's never happened at Real Madrid. Don't get me wrong. I've grown up with Real Madrid. I have, fair share of criticisms of the board.
But definitely in recent history, Casillas got pushed out while he was like an idol, a club idol, legend for crying out loud.
I'm referring more to recent history. Recent history.
Okay.
Okay.
You had to go there. You got to go there, right?
No, you went there. You got to
go there with your line of questioning.
What happened?
You instigated it by your line of questioning. But okay,
no.
You got what you wanted.
No,
you got what you wanted.
No, you always have to.
Don't blame me for.
I'm asking about Barca. You always have to explain Barca's
because you are
whatever by bringing Real Madrid which has nothing to do.
You
are
with generalizing my club, and I'm putting forward another position. No, another example. You generalize and badly so, and instigate a narrative that is in my view, false. And I'm just drawing parallels by
How
using
many players
examples.
have
That's normal.
Barca
People
brought
argue like
in the
that all the
hold
time.
on,
That's
hold on.
called arguing. That's called debating.
How
It's
many
a
players
completely valid form.
how many players has Laporta brought in the last few years only to say goodbye
We'll
to
say
them
that for
after 1
churros.
year?
I don't
How
know.
many? How many?
I don't know. I don't know. Like these are questions I need to
L-
go over,
More than
research,
10? Less than
draw
10? I think it's
parallels.
more than 10 probably.
Why don't we say 50? Say 50. That'll be
No,
better
let's keep it
for your
realistic.
TikTok.
No, I'm
Go
not.
50.
That's hyperbole. I'm
Yeah,
talking
your
about
TikTok
realistic
needs
numbers.
more followers. Say 50. Laporta brought in 50 players. They've all gone to shit. They've been fucked off for
can't-
no money. Didn't get paid. Okay,
You
come
can't
on,
answer
baby.
it like
Let's
this.
go.
You're
No,
answering it with
I don't know
by
why you
by
what you want me to
deflecting
say
with
with this.
humor and
You
bringing
are
Real Madrid
bringing it up.
into it.
No, you're
Your
bringing
answer
up
is either Real
completely
Madrid is evil
unrealistic, these like
or
hypothetical
exaggerating.
scenarios, hypotheticals that just try to paint a bad picture on my club,
All right,
bro.
you know what?
No,
Let's move on.
let's
The
move
answer
on.
is to make you feel better. It's Real Madrid's fault. Everything is Real Madrid's fault.
Right.
Everything.
All right. Well, we agree then. Let's go.
Damn
Let's move
Florentino
on.
and his Illuminati. It's all his fault. It's not
For
Barca. It's
sure.
never Barca's fault.
Let's go. Let's go. Good.
Um,
I
this
think we
one
come
is
to a consensus.
a super chat from Sagnik from a while ago. Saying hot takes episode. I have some. For now, here's one. Real Madrid are weaker as a league campaign side than last year, and Barca are stronger. What are your thoughts? Our hot takes episode actually starts in 7 minutes on YouTube. I actually have to go pretty soon, Diego, because of that.
What's
But
this? What am I missing? What is hotcakes? You got
Hot
churros and
takes.
hotcakes?
hot takes.
Oh, hot
Tea.
takes. Okay. Hotcakes and tea? That's just a knockoff from churros y tácticas, man. What is hot takes, man? I don't know what that is.
Just the question is asking this. His hot take is that
Why am
Real
I
Madrid
not
are
invited to
weaker
hot
as a
take?
league campaign side than last year, and Barca are stronger. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that's not accurate. And I would argue that Madrid are weaker. They are the defending champions. And they've added arguably one of the best players in the world to the roster. They've got young stars in the making on the bench, are knocking on the door for minutes. I see them as, despite losing Kroos, that yes, that is a hurdle to overcome for Ancelotti, and I think Tchouaméni needs to improve a lot if he wants to, follow in his footsteps. But all in all, Madrid are clear favorites and more stronger favorites now to repeat winning La Liga. Are Barca stronger? Too early to say.
We'll take one more, then I gotta run, Diego. Ramki says, I asked Gundo pragmatism versus Xavi victim mentality last season. Now both are thrown out. This season, no one should talk, no matter what they say. Do you want to respond to this, Diego?
I need to respond. I don't know what to say to this. Thank you for your donation, Remke.
I'm not entirely
That's my
sure what the
response.
question is.
I don't either. So thank you, Ramke. Keep them coming.
But
Hey,
it's definitely
seriously, keep these types of donations coming. Easy work.
Ramki, just ignore him. But the answer to this, but I definitely agree. I mean, Gundogan and Xavi were both thrown out, as has at least 50 Barca people in the last 5 years, for sure.
For sure.
Listen,
That's fact. Yes,
you guys
friend.
can see at the bottom here, patreon.com/churrositacticas. That's where Diego is actually going to reveal his thoughts on Laporta throwing players out, because he can only say so much publicly because he works for Barca.
Man.
So patreon.com
You're an awful man.
/churrositacticas is where
You're
you
the
go once a week
Canadian
to get the juicy
Giuseppe
stuff
Derol.
for bonus episodes, bonus content.
The Canadian Giuseppe Derol. That's what you are. I found your nickname. Kian
I would be
Pedrol.
honored.
Kian Pedrol. Listen,
Hold
what
on.
is hotcakes? I mean, what takes, and why am I not invited? What do you guys do over there?
Hold on, I got a treat for you. There we go.
Kian Pedrol, a treat from you, my friend, is always well received. What you got for me?
There you go. You can see it right under my username. the Canadian Pedro, just to make you happy.
Yes. Hey, give credit where it is due. That is mine. That is my gift to you.
Thank you.
Canadian Pedro. Still haven't answered my question. Hot takes.
Hot takes. Our man Angela Valdez is hopping on, and we're just going to, I don't know, come up with some hot takes.
Little circle jerk.
Yeah.
Hot takes
Yes.
while circle jerking. All
Yes.
right. Well, maybe I'll be invited once. Maybe not. Who knows?
You can join the stream if
being
you want.
said-
We're starting in a couple minutes.
Okay. Maybe I will.
Okay.
My friend.
All right, bro.
We will see each other again on Thursday.
Okay. Thursday over on
Mm.
patreon.com/churros y tácticas. Thanks,
Yes.
Diego.
And anything else, we'll WhatsApp you. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, cool. Thanks,
talking.
guys. Appreciate you guys. See you in a couple of minutes. If you're still on YouTube, we'll be hopping right back on, in and out. Thanks, Diego. Peace out.
Peace.